23 minutes? Yeah. Ooh, that's pressure. That's what you did last time. Pressure. You set your bar. Okay, it looks like it's 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Where's my gavel? Oh, I missed my gavel. Before we go any further, I just wanted to remind if anybody wants to speak on a matter, there are comment cards. You have to come up to the desk and get one from one of the ladies, and then we'll have public comment shortly, so make sure you take care of that. Okay, so this is the February 14th Valentine's Day special meeting. Welcome, everyone, and we'll start out with an invocation, which Councilman Mike Elam, I think, is prepared to give us.
Okay.
Yeah?
We can do that.
Thank you. Please stand, take your hats off.
Let's pray. Father, we just pause before you for a few minutes tonight to just ask your blessing upon tonight's meeting. Ask your blessing upon this county, this state, and also on our nation. At this time, you just see the anger that's all around and the name calling and the disrespect and things that are there. And we just pray that somehow your grace will be upon all of us, that we'll feel your presence, we'll feel your plan, and that we'll get the words from you to help us heal our nation and move forward in a way that is pleasing to you. We just ask for your wisdom upon this proceedings tonight, and that all that we do will be glorified in your eyes. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Brazel, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Joe Cronin.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Brazel. Here. Councilmember Mike Elam.
Here.
Councilmember Nancy Schneider. Here. Councilmember Dave Hammond. Councilmember Terry Hollander.
Here.
Councilmember John White.
Here.
Very well. Are there any public comments this evening?
Arnie Dienoff.
Just a reminder, there's a clock up here. There's a 3-minute limit on public comments, so come on up to the podium, and when the buzzer goes off, I'll thank you for your comments and ask you to have a seat. Mr. Dienoff, good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman Schneider, members of the County Council. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, County Public Advocate running for County Executive. First of all, I'd like to notify our county, 411,000 strong, that filing for county offices, most county offices and 3 county council seats will be up. And the first day of filing is Tuesday, February 22nd. If you have any inclination to run, I'll tell you exactly how to do it. Please give me a call, 314-440-9000, or my email address, ARNIE, D as in David, IENOFF, Frank, @yahoo.com. After 14 days, I have not heard iota from County Sheriff Scott Lewis. He sat in his county council chambers and heard my complaint at the security checkpoint. I sent him an email today at 4:38 p.m., where he sat in this room on January 31st and heard my complaint against the deputy sheriff about the unprofessionalism, intimidation, harassment, civil rights violations, and discrimination of K-9 Deputy Doug I. Santos of Darden Prairie. I'm thrilled and elated that Jennifer George is leaving our county government, and she has resigned her position. $154,901 salary and $35,000 in benefits and a pension. Welcome Bob Schnarr to that post. I question, do we really need another post of another Assistant Director of Administration? Is there a conflict of interest with Mr. Schnarr being chairman of the Duckett Creek Sanitary District, appointed by Steve Ellman, and where Steve Ellman has his pulse and his control of the district and political patronage jobs? Bills 5042 and 5043 $4,158,988. Nothing to sneeze at. On traffic light resignalization for the third time in 10 years of the Gateway Green Light Program. We are all federal, state, and county taxpayers. Where is the return on investment saving time, fuel consumption, gridlock, and clean air? You all have your hands out like welfare recipients, like Democrats, not conservative Republicans, wanting more and more money for useless pet projects. We have now spent over $18 million on Gateway Greenlight initiatives with no to little return on investment, but to give pals lucrative contracts while the federal government is in debt. The Chinese own our debt, are buying our office buildings and purchasing Missouri farms at an outlandish rate. I ask that you as elected officials have a backbone. Send the money back to the federal government, send it back to MoDOT, and say no. We have a growing population here. Invest that money in roads and construction, and the $64.4 million contract on I-70 is just a farce.
Thanks, Mr. Dugan.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Any other public
That's the
comment?
final speaker.
Oral report from the county executive, Mr. Elmer.
Not this evening, Madam Chairman.
Sorry, very well. Next, we'll take up the consent agenda. That consists of approval of previous minutes, approval of certain bids, nominations and appointments, and some miscellaneous matters. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Bills for final passage.
Bill number 5041, an ordinance approving a second amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Wentzville for West Meyer Road Phase 3.
Are there any comments or questions about Bill number 5041? Please read the bill and call the roll.
An ordinance approving a second amendment to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Wentzville for West Meyer Road Phase 3. Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond? Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Bill number 5041 passes. On to Bill number 5042.
Bill number 5042, an ordinance approving execution of a congestion mitigation and air quality agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund automated traffic signal performance project providing signal optimizations on Mexico Road from Bryan Road to Cave Springs Road.
Is there any discussion? Okay, please read the title and call the roll.
An ordinance approving execution of a congestion mitigation and air quality agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund automated traffic signal performance project providing signal optimizations on Mexico Road from Bryan Road to Cave Springs Road. Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond? Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Bill number 5042 passes. Bill number 5043.
Bill number 5043, an ordinance approving execution of a congestion mitigation and air quality agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund automated traffic signal performance project providing signal optimizations on Muegge Road from Cave Springs Road to Old Route 94.
Is there any discussion? Please read the title and call the roll.
An ordinance approving execution of a congestion mitigation and air quality agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to fund automated traffic signal performance project providing signal optimizations on Muegge Road from Cave Springs Road to Old Route 94. Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond? Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
The last bill for final passage is Bill number 5044. Is there
Bill
any
num-
discussion?
I'll read the
Oh, read it
title.
first. I'm sorry.
Bill number 5044, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the city of O'Fallon for use of St. Charles County Transportation Sales Tax funds for emergency funding of the North Cool Springs Bridge replacement.
Any discussion? Please read the title and call the roll.
An ordinance authorizing the county executive to execute an intergovernmental agreement with the city of O'Fallon for use of St. Charles County Transportation Sales Tax funds for emergency funding of the North Cool Springs Bridge replacement. Councilmember Schneider?
Yes.
Councilmember Hammond? Councilmember Hollander?
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Cronin?
Yes.
Councilmember Brazel?
Yes.
Councilmember Elam?
Yes.
Bill number 5044 passes. That concludes passage, final passage of those bills. Now there are bills for introduction. First bill is number 5045.
Bill number 5045, requested by Michael Hurlbert, sponsored by Joe Cronin, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the County of St. Charles, Missouri by rezoning land from A Agricultural District with Floodway Overlay District to RF Riverfront District with Floodway Overlay District per application RZ 21-20.
Is there any discussion? Yes, Mr. Cronin.
This is basically an expansion of an existing campground, or we changed the zoning classification to make it fit well. Staff recommends it. There's no controversy that I'm aware of, so I'm good to go with it.
Does anyone else have any discussion on the bill? Yes, sir.
I missed the first date of the introduction, and I'm Robert Pendergrass. So if they had any questions, I could answer them this time.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Pendergrass? All right, very well. This will be voted on at the next meeting, which is the 28th
Yes.
of this month, so thank you. The next bill is 5046.
Bill number 5046, requested by Michael Hurlbert, sponsored by Joe Brazel, an ordinance of the County of St. Charles, Missouri, approving the preliminary plat for Autumn Hollow.
Is there any discussion?
We already approved the subdivision. It's just to allow a hammerhead circle versus a full circle. And the fire department, and they all approved it already. It's just something that we don't, from what I understand, we don't have a hammerhead circle in our ordinances, so
What is that?
it's like a hammerhead, I don't know. It's not a full circle, I don't know, is that what it is?
It's just something you pull in and then back out of?
It's basically a T. So you come up to a dead, it's
Okay.
like a dead end and have a circle. There's a pavement on both sides, and you could do a turnaround right there.
Okay, great, thank you. That's a new one on me. Anyone, I think the Planning and Zoning Commission was unanimous in support of this fairly minor change, it's my understanding, so. Okay, so that will be voted on at the next meeting as well. The next bill for introduction is 5047.
Bill number 5047, requested by Amanda Brower, sponsored by Nancy Schneider, an ordinance approving execution of a highway research and development agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to coordinate the participation of St. Charles County in the cost of the Federal Highway Administration's allocated work zone data exchange demonstration discretionary grant program.
Anyone wish to discuss that bill? Mr. Dienhoff is giving us his verbal signal on that. We're not voting on that today. We'll vote on that on the next meeting. And we have one final bill for introduction.
Bill number 5048, requested by Joe Cronin, Joe Brazel, Nancy Schneider, sponsored by Joe Cronin, Joe Brazel, Nancy Schneider, an ordinance amending sections 405.060 and 405.080 regarding custom butchering.
Is there some discussion on that? I know there was
Just a little bit.
text or something today on
The
that.
Breaker family, they got a farm down off of 94, been there for a long time, and he's been,
Are they here tonight?
yeah.
Hi.
They've been butchering deer, and somebody will bring them a pig or a cow or something. It's, whoever owns the product will bring it to him, he butchers it and sends it to them. You don't sell retail or nothing. Been doing it for a long time, and a lot of people do butcher, animals, and so we just never had a CUP for it, or I would prefer you to just continue, but the problem is we don't ever have language for it, and DNR is requiring them because he wants to expand his septic tank, and so that's how they got involved, and so we have to have it on the books. And so I do want to make an amendment, though, that thing we left out, that they asked if they could slaughter as well, which the reason for that is you don't typically shoot a pig or a cow, you bring it
Right.
there so it's fresh, and then they slaughter it and they butcher it. So I'd like to amend that, if there's no objections. I don't know what line it's supposed to go in.
That was rather a lengthy bill too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 80 pages, yeah.
I just have I got a couple questions on the slaughter, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Are there I mean, I butcher at home too, okay, but I don't have a house within probably a couple hundred yards of my house. Are you a long ways from other folks? Okay.
Our closest neighbor is brother-in-law and sister-in-law, and they're approximately a third of a mile away.
So you should have no trouble with that then.
No,
And then when, you do 100 animals a year, that's a lot of stomachs and intestines and
I
the stuff that's,
have a rendering company.
That comes and gets it all?
Flying International from Granite City, Illinois.
Okay.
Come over once a week
Okay.
and pick up
Okay.
stuff. And it stays in the cooler during the summer, so
Okay.
there's not a flying
Okay.
issue. And it stays in the cooler also during the winter, so it doesn't freeze.
and that's probably regulated by the state
The
anyway, right?
Department of Agriculture.
Yeah. That's the one question I got. I'm fine with it.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, I got a question.
Oh, Robert, I'm sorry, Robert, yes.
I just wanted to make myself available in case you had any questions about that land use. I used to be a city planner at City of St. Joseph, Missouri, which is an old livestock yard town. So they're very familiar. I'm familiar with the livestock yards, the meat packing plants that go with it. The closest land use that we have on the books now under our zoning regulations is meat packing plant and livestock yard. But this is not exactly the same thing. As it was described to me, this is a service. They don't own the meat. They don't buy and sell meat. They provide a service for butchering and potentially slaughtering. One question I have is, would the slaughtering happen at the farm or would it happen at this facility? So if it happens at this facility, that also involves bringing animals to the site, penning them, and it's a different dynamic than actually bringing a carcass there and just finishing the work. So I've always seen agricultural as the A's agricultural zoning district allows agricultural by right. And I think within that, there's some level of butchering going on at different farms, whether it's pigs or chickens or rabbits or whatever it is. So I think that is, I could see where slaughtering would take place at a farm and then maybe the carcass is brought here. But once you bring live animals to this site, it can change the dynamic of the land use. Then you can have what could turn into, if it became really big or successful, it could turn into a livestock yard and a concentrated animal feed lot and everything else that goes with it. But I'm not saying this person would, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
But on the CUP, they don't shoot pigs and then bring the dead carcass to the butcher shop either. So it's a thing of freshness and everything else. But the way their business is, they've been doing it for 25 years. They have no intent of growing. Wouldn't the CUP cover the particulars like that? Like you would say, you can allow slaughter, but then when it goes through the CUP, then you put the conditions. Let's say one animal at a time on site or whatever, because you got 30 or something acres, don't you? 40, what do you got? You guys got a farm and you broke it up with your family members. So it's actually, let's say it's 100 acres, but then they parceled it out with family members. So they've been farming there for a long time on the bluff there on the river. So do you want me to talk to you about that on the side to work, see if there's a way? Because I think that it's kind of crucial to be able to, you only bring like one animal.
According to the Department of Agriculture, who we would be licensed through, we are not allowed to hold them overnight to be processed. They put a limit of number of hours that the live animal could be at our property.
Well, and then you get inspected by who? You got all these people coming out inspecting all
Well,
this.
the Department of Agriculture would be inspecting the ship.
Yeah.
Is there a limit on how many animals you could have at one time?
As of right now, no.
But they all have to be
They-
disposed of before,
Yes,
that-
they give you regulations that if you do have them overnight, you have to feed and water them, or they say within 6 hours from the time they are delivered, they have to be taken care of.
so you could schedule how many animals you had coming to your property so that you would not have
Yes,
an
ma'am.
excessive number that you wouldn't be able to handle within that time period.
Correct.
Okay.
So Robert, I'll talk to you about it. We'll figure out if there's a way we can insert it. And then I think your basic details would be dealt with on the CUP, like conditions, you know? So we can insert the slaughter in there in the right and appropriate place. And then if they got to follow all the other rules anyway.
I'd like to make a suggestion, if you just incorporate that for any person that's using this type of ordinance, that they follow U.S. Department of agricultural rules, like this gentleman is. So these folks been doing it a long time, and it sounds like he's doing it by the rule book, but you might get folks in the county that don't do it that way down the road, so you got some teeth in there if you need them.
Okay. One other aspect is the wastewater. I know there's a difference between like a residential wastewater disposal system and this sort of thing, but if you add also the slaughtering, I wonder how much blood and other waste that adds as well. And I don't know how that's dealt with, but.
Tony, you want to come up here if you want, you can
Well,
answer.
that's-
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
On a normal beef, excuse me, has 5 gallons of blood, but we actually have there is 5 gallons of blood in a beef, but according to the rendering company, we catch it all in a barrel, and they pick that blood up. The only time that you would have any is if you're cleaning your saw, your knives, and your grinder. As far as blood goes into your septic tank, there would be very, very minimal.
But you also applied for a permit to upgrade your septic to a commercial
Yes,
septic.
sir.
Yeah.
And the DNR told us back when this all started in December, that the Department of Agriculture shut us down because of not having a permit through them. The DNR told us that they would not be involved until you use 3,000 gallons of water per day.
Wow.
The last month that we actually got a bill while we were still open was the month of October, and between our house and the building where we do our processing, we used a total of 4,000 gallons for the month. Now, it was just the wife and myself in the house at the residence, so we used very little, as far as in the house. So, we're at 3,000 gallons, let's just say 3,000 in the shop a month, and they are saying they don't need to be involved until it's 3,000 gallons a day.
Oh, okay. So that'll be on our agenda then, the next meeting, and in the meantime, Mr. Brazel's going to work with you and
Okay.
work it out. Okay, any other discussion or questions about this bill?
Just a comment.
Yes.
3 generations ago, every farm did this.
Yeah.
It seems like we just regulate. This gentleman's doing what's been done for eons of time. That's my comment.
That's what I said.
He's
Yeah,
also
so-
doing it in a lot better way than most people do it
Oh,
down in the
I'm
country.
sure. It
because
sounds like
I
a-
can tell you,
a real
I put a lot of
professional.
blood through my septic. I didn't do any different.
The only thing that scares me about doing this is what Mr. Cronin said, there's a lot of farm families that still butcher, and they butcher among all their family members, they have butchering parties, and I don't think the government, like what you said, everybody who butchers need to get through, agriculture, we don't need to, that's what, every time you do something like this, you're trying to help somebody, but it makes it worse for a bunch of
I
other
think if
people.
you just make an exclusion, if they get the commercial licensing through Department of Agriculture, they don't have
Yeah.
much
Yeah.
to do.
Okay, well, that concludes the bills for introduction. Is there any action on any of the tabled bills? Okay, hearing none, any announcements?
I think you just might have got the record. Oh, who's got
18 minutes.
18 minutes?
I could try to talk slower,
They
but
want 18
I guess I just wanted to acknowledge that this will be Jennifer George's last meeting with us. Jennifer has been with St. Charles County government since, was it 2008, Jennifer? And is leaving here on February the 23rd. She did work closely with the council and provided us with a lot of input and assistance. So I want to wish you luck in your next venture. We'll miss you, and I'm sure will be a new chapter in your life. So congratulations on that. Okay, if there's nothing further, then, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Ellman.
Yeah, I will just add to that and
Please.
thank Jennifer for all those years of the hard work and dedication that she showed. And I know she's going on to it's a great challenges, and I think she's going to be up to it. I think she's going to do very, very well, and please come back and visit us.
I guess we should also announce that Bob Schnurr has been appointed to fill that position, so we'll look forward to working you in that capacity. Do we have somebody else here tonight who, this is their last meeting?
So Ashley Fears, this is her last meeting with us, so Mary gets to replace Ashley. Ashley is going to work for Jefferson County because she lives down in that area. So she cuts her drive, so it's going to be closer to home for her. It's going to be easier to get in and out. And then Brian, who works for the department also, is moving to IT. So way to steal from in-house, good job. And which was great that we had Brian moving to IT because we had an IT issue right before the program started. So he's already working both sides, I guess, at that point. So congratulations to Jennifer moving on to the private sector, which will be fun. You won't have to come to meetings like this and deal with different comments, so that'll be fun. Ashley gets to move on to Jeffco, Brian's movement. So I think we've got some openings in the county if you'd like to apply, especially in our AV department. We could use a couple of folks to stop by, so we'd love to talk to you.
Okay, very well said. If there's no other,
John.
I'm sorry, John.
I just,
John, why are you so
before we
far
leave,
away
I
from
just
me?
want to publicly thank Jennifer for all the projects that she's helped me with. I appreciate all your help, and good luck to you.
I wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
Thanks-
and it's still
thanks
have
for coming
time to
talk
go
about the
home
issue, and you
and,
didn't have to say anything.
Stop
So
and
there you
get
go.
flowers and candy on the way home if you need to do that. Or
Motion to
champagne.
adjourn.
Is there a second? Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all right, go in peace.